They win it 35-10. Here's Lamar after the game.
Man, Derrick Henry, he opened up the play-action game. Guys running to the ball, trying to stop him from getting started in the backfield. And our offensive line just did a great job of giving Derrick lanes. Receivers did a great job as well, blocking down the field and letting Derrick do his things.
It's been fun. We didn't start the way we wanted to, but like I told those guys, this is why I came here, because of culture. Our backs are against the wall on 2. We just kept believing, we kept fighting, and now we're back where we want to be.
The Ravens' run game has been historically great to start the season. They're averaging 6.38 yards per carry, the 4th most by a team in the first 4 games of a season in NFL history. They've also stopped the run well on the defense, so they've outgained their opponent by 650 yards on the ground so far in 2024. Mina, why was this Ravens offense able to just run all over Buffalo last night?
I thought this offense and Todd Monken did a great job of exposing the Bills' weaknesses and mitigating their strengths. So starting with the weaknesses, we know that the spine of this defense is a problem. They've been ravaged by injuries, particularly at the linebacker position. The Ravens also knew that, and they attacked them in a way that no offense has thus far. When they were in their heavy groupings with Patrick Ricard on the field and sometimes multiple tight ends, they bulldozed the Bills. When they came out with their nickel defense, when the Bills added a linebacker, which they rarely do, they attacked them through the air. I saw this as a mismatch of personnel. But I also want to add, they also mitigated the Bills' strengths. This 4-man rush gets after it. The Ravens knew that. They are so aggressive. And what they did to counter that was lean on screens, draws, some very timely Lamar scrambles in a way that took away what the Bills did best, and really the only way I could see them taking over the game. This was a statement game for the Baltimore Ravens offense, truly something scary to see for the rest of the NFL.
First off, this is matchup hell for the Buffalo Bills. If you were talking about a team that's put together in a way that's going to give the Buffalo Bills trouble on both sides of the football, it's the Baltimore Ravens right now. But I remember I told the world a lie in week 1. I said, you know what? We can't know exactly what you're going to do with Derrick Henry on the field or with Justice Hill on the field and expect you to be successful. Lies I told. Because when Derrick Henry is on the field, whether he's in pistol or he's in shotgun or they bring in 22 personnel or Ricard's on the field, I know exactly what they're going to do. And you know what they thought to themselves? But you got to stop me. And then when Justice Hill is out there and they're on the perimeter and they're throwing screens and we're using Lamar Jackson's legs, all of those things are the things that I expect to happen when Justice Hill is on the field. And you can't stop that either. Now, what they've done is they found creativity in some of the predictability. It says, okay, we're going to try to get on the edge, but watch how we use motion. Watch how we use pullers. We're going to give the ball to Derrick Henry. Watch how we do it. Watch how we motion Ricard. Watch how he goes from the fullback to the tight end position. They're doing so much within the predictability that they're saying, you got to stop us. And right now, for the last 2 weeks, they haven't been able to.
I love a man that admit when he wrong. I love a man. Because RC, remember I was telling you about what Derrick Henry was going to do for this offense. Now that's 199 following up what he did against the Dallas Cowboys. And this is why I was like, this dude can be the MVP of the league. But more importantly, to your point, it's what it does for everybody else, right? Like, who's the draw? And we know Derrick Henry is the draw. And Lamar mentioned it there about the boxes and how they get stacked and we can get to the play action. But not only to the play action, Lamar is living a freedom-free life now as well. This is about Derrick Henry and his gravitational pull. Anytime you show him getting through the line of scrimmage and teams so worried about him getting to the second and third level. Now they've been able to create. The first week we saw it. It was like, what we going to do with Derrick Henry? How many carries are we going to give him? Now it's becoming about not only him forcing his will on people, but it's also about how we creating off of him. And when you look at a lot of Lamar runs, bro, it's nobody within 7 yards when he turns the corner with a blocker in front of him.
Yeah, I thought Baltimore offensively did a great job of using, Buffalo's rules against them. The basis of their rules, because they're playing their zone defense, you two know this, is eyes and aggression. And it was often, okay, if we do something first, your eyes are going to flow aggressively. That's the perimeter screen to start the game to Zay Flowers with a little bit of a ball fake. There's that pump fake. You see the second level fly. Dude, they got offensive line, 8 yards blocking downfield. Then they create that splice. space. They give it a little ball fake. That was another part that I thought they did a great job, was creating space and then attacking it. You know, the linebacker right there expects Justice Hill to run the out there. Look at this. They widen everybody because they know that in zone, they're paying attention, and they're an ultra-aggressive defense. I thought it was really smart by Todd Monken of taking the rules and the strengths of Buffalo's defense, which are pluses, and using it against them.
That's Bo Nix's adulation, but Aaron Rodgers wasn't feeling the same way, and here's what he had to say after the game.
You know, we had some chances, but, you know, way too many mental mistakes, too many poor throws, and then we just missed some easy stuff. But when your defense holds them to 10, you gotta win the game 100% of the time. So that's on the offense. It's on me. Yeah, not good enough.
Thanks for taking the highlight, guys. Aaron Rodgers has been nearly unbeatable when his defense holds his opponents to 10 points. He now has a career record of 33-2 in those games, with his only other loss coming in 2010 when he left in the second quarter with a concussion. He also held the longest active streak of wins under those circumstances, winning 22 straight before the loss to the Broncos. Mina, is this a case of the Jets' offense playing bad, or is there more to it?
Look, why does every low-scoring game have to be bad? Why can't it be about great defense? Because the Broncos' defense, okay, it was a bad game. I'm not going to lie. But the Broncos' defense was excellent. And they deserve a lot of credit because they've been excellent all year long. So I feel like it's good that we're getting an opportunity to give them their flowers. I thought they matched up really well with Denver. You saw that pass rush is so speedy with Cooper and Bonito, and then up in the middle with Zach Allen, Franklin Myers is a revenge game for him. Really excellent. Some of those blitzes that Vance Joseph is dialing up are so creative and well-timed. Gave Rodgers a lot of trouble, who is a guy who's seen every blitz on planet Earth. And then behind them, you got a corner in Surtain who can not only man up Garrett Wilson, he pressed him for most of this game. And because this Jets offense wants to get the ball out so quickly, having a corner who can do that is really significant. This is a good group. We're going to be talking about them playing like this all year long.
Well, this is why I hate this show. I also hate not having pre-production meetings as much as I love not having pre-production meetings, because it gives me more time to make sure that my pen stays on my suit. But I have the exact same thought that Mina has. Vance Joseph was absolutely amazing yesterday, and it was a great matchup for the Denver Broncos. You know that you're going to follow Garrett Wilson with a guy like Pat Surtain who could play him in off coverage, also press. But it was the pressure that they were able to create because of what they could do on the back end. A lot of these pressures were zero pressures. That means there was no help in the middle of the field. If you get beat, if the football gets out, that could be a huge play. They stopped that the entire day by pressuring Aaron, pushing him off of his spot and out of the pocket. And I want to tell the whole world this. Everything that you thought Cooper DeJean could be, Riley Moss is. Dude was locked down yesterday, and he has been playing well
throughout this season. Why you got to compare the two of them? Why has it got to be those two, right?
Because we don't talk about Riley like that.
My sons are very my sons are very grateful for that type of comment. It gives them a belief in themselves.
Such a good Samaritan,
my nephew's got no chance. Lacrosse it is.
Hey, man, take that back.
Come on.
Listen, this Jets offense, they could not in the run game get to the second level. I mean, it was awful how bad they were getting up to the linebackers in their run game. I'll credit Denver's front. It was fantastic when it came to not allowing them to do that. But those linebackers for Denver were downhill and in many ways untouched. Multiple negative runs for the Jets offense, and that's kind of what led to this defense getting into some of those pressure situations. The second thing, man, the Jets tight ends got absolutely whipped in the run game. You talk, Marcus, all the time about setting an edge.
Absolutely.
Man, these cats like set a building out there. It was violent when it came to those guys creating penetration and so many tackle for losses. So the pressures were great, but you don't get to the pressures unless you win those downs. The second level and those DNs, outside backers, were tremendous.
Yeah, that indictment wasn't on my nephews. It was on their daddy. It was on who their daddy is. Listen, I love.
Thank you for clearing the record.
I love what you said, D.O., about that run game. And a lot of times, defenses can dictate, and the line of scrimmage was crowded. I think Vance Joseph is actually doing a lot of what we're seeing Brian Flores done and taking things away before, stopping you from thinking about it. but Breece Hall has to touch the ball more in the run game. I don't care what, get more creative. This game, to me, when it came to the run game, and Dan, you know this as well as anybody, schematically you have to figure out a way to create angles and spaces, and I thought Hackett did a terrible job at trying to create some runs, create leverage with some motion, bring in an extra offensive lineman. You see how they're stacking the box. You see the quickness in which they want to play with. You either have to remove defenders from the box to create that space, or you have to add in an extra blocker. I was frustrated time and time again because I feel like when you finally capitulate to somebody that I'm away from the run, you can become dominant like that in the rush, and we saw Denver take advantage of it.
I think that's part of it. I also love the 20 personnel package with Braylon Edwards and Braylon Allen and also Breece Hall on the field at the same time. I think that's when we see them be the most creative, especially with some of the looks and emotions in the backfield. If you're playing the Denver Broncos, one, you better block up front, and you better be able to create separation on the back end. The Jets couldn't do that, and that is why they were dominated yesterday.
Hey, really fast, can you guys help me out here? Can we tell Dan it's okay to just leave the jacket off? Poor guy is dying out here. He's sweating. He's got to call Monday Night Football. You're wearing the same outfit.
Go get you a T-shirt.
He's
I don't know how y'all in the South do it, man. It is so hot down here, bro.
He's not conditioned for this heat. He's struggling, y'all.
It's so hot, man.
That's how me and you were at Buffalo last year.
It's not good for Dan right now.
Remember they was in the studio,
look at my
we was
paper.
in Buffalo?
Now it's in his screen.
That's them, the reverse. The
All
reverse.
right, listen. Exactly. 58-yard attempt by Younghoe Koo.
Nails, dude. 58.
All right, the Falcons pick up a wild 26-24 victory over the Saints. Mina, what was the difference in this game?
I thought Raheem Morris did a great job calling that defense and getting Derek Carr to play really more like the Derek Carr we saw last year and not the Derek Carr the first couple of weeks, which to say they heated him up with their 5-man pressures, which were extremely effective. And in response to that, he was dinking and dunking a bit this game. Had a very quick time to throw versus those blitzes. This is not a defense that blitzes a lot, but I thought it was a very smart call by Morris and his defensive coordinator, Jimmy Lake, to add on with some of those linebackers, including the guy you see here, Troy Anderson, who played out of his mind yesterday.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable saying through 4 games, the best player on Atlanta's offense has been Darnell Mooney. It really has been. I mean, they've placed him in many times like that X-receiver, put out there by yourself and go win. And he's proved them capable, improved himself capable, and proved them smart. I think the way that they have allowed him to go vertical with some of his routes has been a big deal for this offense. You saw him making some of those contested catches. Laura, you said they needed a minor miracle. The only reason the minor miracle happens is because he wins at the line of scrimmage. I think that's a massive deal for this offense. Now, that being said, I want to see Drake London make a couple more contested catches. They got to get Kyle Pitts to make a couple more contested catches. They're not really like separators in this league. So they got to use those big frames. Now, Drake has done it way more than Kyle has this year, but I'm expecting Drake London to enter a different conversation this season at that wide receiver spot. He's got to use his frame more consistently to make some of those kind of opportunity 50-50 throws.
Especially with what we thought that offense would be, and there's still a ton of time. All right, so we were giving you some trouble there, Dan, over the weather and how hot it is. I'm just going to pop the weather here up on the screen. It's 91 degrees, but feels like 103 with the humidity.
Really?
So like, you know what?
It's hot, man. It's humid and hot.
You're validated here, Dan.
Yeah, thank
I'm
you.
trying not to think about it. I'm doing mind over matter because I'm more mentally strong than you, and that's the only way that I'm carrying through.
It's a relatively low bar, though.
That's actually very true. The Bucks recover the ball and go on to beat the Eagles 33-16. So Mayfield started hot yesterday with a career best in the first quarter in completions and pass yards. Overall in the season, his pass yards are the 4th most in the NFL. His passing touchdowns and off-target percentage ranks 2nd. His 347 pass yards yesterday were the 4th most by a quarterback this season. Baker made a headline recently when talking about replacing Tom Brady in Tampa. Take a listen to that first.
Tom was different. He had everybody dialed in, high-strung environment, so I think everybody was pretty stressed out. So for me, and everybody was expecting the Bucs to not be good last year, so they wanted me to come in, be myself, bring the joy back to football a little bit for guys that weren't having as much fun.
All right, so Brady was on the call of the Eagles-Bucks game yesterday. He responded by saying, quote, "I thought stressful was not having Super Bowl rings. There was a mindset of a champion that I took to work every day. This wasn't daycare. If I wanted to have fun, I was going to go to Disneyland with my kids." I do appreciate the Disneyland shout out, but RC, what do you think about that back and forth?
I think this is the direct example of when your daddy at home and when your brother has to babysit, right? Because when your dad at home, something's gonna be run a certain way. They're gonna make sure that you clean up. They're gonna make sure that that homework is done. They're gonna make sure that you're respectful. If I tell you something, you're gonna do it, because I've earned that cachet because I take care of everybody around here. Now, when my big brother is taking care of me or when he's babysitting, then I know I gotta listen to him, but it's only because my daddy put him in charge. I know I have to clean up if he tells me to clean up, because when daddy gets home, it's gonna start at him and then it's gonna trickle down to the rest of us. And see, here's the other thing that daddy has that big brother normally doesn't have. See, daddy got a ring, because daddy married to mom. And in this case, Tom had 6 of them things when he got there, and he left with 7. So it's a different level of respect when I've done all these things for you to walk in the house and call me daddy, and instead of saying, "Hey, Baker, what's up, bro?" And so I get it. We want to have fun. I want to have fun too. I'm going to tell you what's the most fun I've seen had in Tampa Bay in the last 5 years. When Tom walked off that boat, toe up, because he had just won his 7th Super Bowl. Looked fun to me.
I wanted to be with him, too.
Throwing that Lombardi all across the water.
Full of that yak.
Yeah, I had a whole family tree there going in my head. Thanks to RC for that.
Now,
Marcus,
Makes me want to yell at my kids more.
You should, Dan. Marcus, whatever you think of the comments from Baker and all that, what has this Bucs offense cooking so well right now?
Oh, he mixtape baked. Y'all know I say it all the time. That man down there in the basement with basement beats and basement music, and he making it happen. He's not corporate America. That's the difference between him and Tom Brady. He's not with a record label. Bake is comfortable, right? And he trusts what he has on the outside. Obviously, Mike Evans, who we know goes for 1,000 yards every season, Chris Godwin, but you see him spreading the football around as well and making in rhythm. Dan can speak to this as well. The thing that I've seen from Baker Mayfield and also working with Dan is how his feet and the way he delivers the ball is tied together. And I think you can only play like that from anticipation, knowing and trusting everything that's in front of you. And that's one thing about Baker Mayfield that I used to question in Cleveland. He didn't play with conviction at all. And a part of it was coaching, a part of it was from him trying to do too much. I think now he's just a point guard playing in rhythm, but he's doing it in the basement, RC.
Why gotta be the basement?
You used the perfect word there, conviction, man. The conviction, though, is the real thing, man. Like, when you watch him play, and he's got so much, like, freedom, and in his way of having fun, he trusts what he sees, man. He's ultra aggressive when he's like that because he's convicted by what he's seen. He's convicted with the people that he's doing it with as well. I've always said this about Baker. See it, trust it, and rip it. And he's in that sweet spot right now.
That was mixtape Dan. See it, trust it, rip it. We're going to do that in the basement and see how it goes.
All right, y'all, I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to lose some LBs. But before I lose some LBs, I'm going to get the ones with a lot of LBs some love. Let's get to this BMB. First of all, I don't know how in the hell Kyle Van Noy found the Fountain of Youth, but he's damn sure found it because this man out here making plays. I think he got like 5.5 sacks through the first 4 games. But here, chasing down Josh Allen and creating a sack fumble, Kyle Van Noy stretching out. We are showing our feats of athleticism is starting to come to fruition. And look at Big 98, let Josh Allen know you are not welcome in the BMB club. My dog, Kyle Van Noy. This is what I call a group project, and this is when everybody contributes, not just 2 people, and 1 person still get an A. This is the Las Vegas Raiders taking care of Deshaun Watson. My man Christian Wilkins getting into the business first, but his other 2 compadres, other BMBs. It was not 1, it was not 2, it was 3 stomachs that hit Deshaun Watson and put him on the ground. That's what I'm talking talking about Big CW. My dog, Colin Smith. First of all, Randy Moss, I love You Got Moss. It's been a longer entity than BMB, but you got to ask my permission when the big fellas get busy like this. A one-hand catch over 3 defenders. Look at how the little ones are so distressed. Number 2 is trying to already PI the big fella. He said, I don't need 2 hands, I need 1 hand. He caught it with the closest to his body. And I tell y'all all the time, when the BMBs catch the football, it's all hands, it ain't nobody catch it. It's a rule, because if it hit our body, y'all know what that cushion might do to it. Might bounce it off. That's BMB for this week. Shout out to my man Colin Smith from Northwest High School in Ohio. Randy Moss, you got Moss, and this man love. But when a man is on his way and projected to be 300+ pounds, you must check in with Swagoo about the BMBs making plays. I'll holler at y'all next week.